Hey, what's up, family? Today I want to talk to you about a subject that's been coming up quite a bit lately, and that's about um, shadow beings um, that are in your dreams. And the majority of these shadow beings pop up in your childhood dreams, and they kind of are just there in your dreams. And these same shadow beings are making themselves known in this 3D 4D realm in real time. So not just dream time, but in real time too. So I just want to make this video to make you guys aware of what these shadow beings are and what they represent from my personal experiences. Um, when I was growing up, when I was real little, when my sister was born, um, is when I started to remember things. So when I started to become aware I'm in this reality, when I was a child, I started having these very detailed, encrypted dreams. And I was only, let's see, um, maybe three or four, somewhere around there. Probably three or four. I started having these very detailed, um, scary dreams for a child. And one of the main ones I remember I had was everything was red tinted, like the whole house itself was red tinted and very hot, and it just had this very eerie feeling to it. I mean, like everybody was red themselves, their eyes were red, and it just was a very, very creepy feel to it. But it's there can be some interpretations of it. To me, I believe it was a form of grounding and a form of awareness that was kind of being shown to me. And your higher aspects of self try to show you things so young. It's hard to really even consider why your higher aspect of self's teaching you this stuff so young. you know. So anyways, after I had that weird dream, after that I started getting haunted by these beings. They weren't really shadows yet, but they were taking form of childhood characters. Like I used to watch like Sesame Street, stuff like that. So these shadow beings were using forms from my mind to manipulate me. So they were using the Sesame Street characters um, to haunt and spread fear upon me. And it was quite interesting and terrifying for a kid, But like I said, I still didn't become aware of it. But the thing is I wasn't really afraid when I was little. It just was um, just becoming aware because I don't really I never really focused on, you know, uh, development of putting things in a category. I just kind of experienced it. And this is how I've always been since I was a child. Is just experiencing and then just trying to discover why I'm having these kind of dreams. But this was like when I was living in an old trailer court. Um, and then we moved out of there and we moved to another house. And when I moved into this house, um, it was where my whole journey pretty much really began. It was these shadow beings just were ruthless beings. Um, and it's quite interesting. I'll go ahead and just explain the dream I had real quick. But when we moved into this house, I started having dreams because it was a two-story house. There was the basement and then the main upstairs. And I slept um, in the basement. And let's see, how old was I? I think I was 6. I think I was 6, 6 or 7 when we moved into that house. So I started having these dreams, and my mom and dad's bedroom were further down in the basement, and there was something in my mom and dad's bedroom. I'd be playing around, my dreams, whatever, and then all of a sudden I get this real odorous stink. And when I first had this dream, I was like, what is that? And then my heart started racing, beating, and I knew that there was a beast or something coming to get me. So I tried to run up the stairs, couldn't make it. I heard this growling, hissing noise, grabbed my legs, and ate me. And then I woke up. And I had this reoccurring dream all the time, almost every night. I had this dream all the time. It was just like I was trapped in the basement part. I never really had any dreams outside of my bedroom, and I always had this recurring dream of that beast. But one day, and as I had these dreams, I was able to climb up one step at a time. So I made it like to third step, and then half step, and then I was in between steps. But things got so intense that I couldn't make it anymore. So I tried to fight it. I was like, okay, I'm not going to go up the stairs. I'm just going to fight it. Well, it ate me and then didn't do any good. But during these dreams, I would see shadow figures all the time in my bedroom. I mean, literally, like I could just blink and I would just see all these shadow figures moving all over the place, getting closer to me. And I was learning not to fear. Like at a very young age, I was just trying to comprehend, what's going on, because I could sense that there's beings and stuff around me. I just couldn't figure out what's going on. So I try not to keep the light on, because my parents were trying to make sure I didn't keep my lights on. So I had night lights and stuff, but these beings would always be there, and sometimes they'd be intense, sometimes they wouldn't. And it always make my heart chakra start pounding. It wasn't my heart, it was my heart chakra. But when you're little, you don't know this stuff, so I thought it was just my heart. So anyways, I had a dream, and upstairs there was a doorway, right? You go in and out or whatever. And this perceived angel came through the doorway and lit the whole stairs on fire. Like literally lit the whole stairs on fire, and the fire wrapped around and went to the bedroom and cleansed the whole area. And even talking about it, it gives me goosebumps, because it just was so intense. It was so intense. And the angel looked right at me and then vanished. And then I woke up. And after that, I had no problems going up and down the stairs. So I finally was able to adventure upwards. And you're going to see a pattern here as I talk about this, and many other people have had this too, is they always start at a lower area, whether it's a basement or whatever. And there's always dreams of climbing upstairs, and I'll get to that. So I was able to finally make it upstairs, and this is where my expanding awareness came into play, because I mean, these dreams are literally like stories, at least from my perspective. So when I finally made it upstairs in my dreams, things were nice, bright and sunny, but there was a being outside, again, just like it was in the trailer courts. There was a being outside, but it took form of a shadow figure. A shadow figure. It had no form, it just was a shadow. And it would always peep its head. I mean, it would literally be like this, looking at me, and it would just stare at me and look back. And it just kept looking at me and staring at me all the time. And it just was real eerie. And through these whole events, I kept having these image dreams. I'd be like picking my hands right here all the time, and I always felt like I had to pick them, because they just itched all the time, and I would just itch them till they bled. And I thought at first that maybe it was a representation of the Christ character in the cross, right? Later on, I didn't find that out. It just this right here was reminding me I needed to dig deep within myself. That there's a lot of energy because where do you get energy from? You suck your energy in your hands and out your hands. It was a reminder. It was an image reminder that I'm a powerful being, and that I hold a lot of power inside myself. But like I said, I was a kid. I didn't know. So, but I remember these very vividly. I didn't even have to write these down. I mean, these dreams were so intense. I still remember them to this day, detail for detail. And I had these recurring dreams constantly. So I tried to go. So, anyways, those shadow beings were always outside. So I tried to go outside, and my heart started beating, and the shadow figure would take me all the time. So I wasn't able to go outside. So I started trying to figure out, okay, and why can't I go outside? So what I'd started doing is I would run outside, because I started getting trapped in my dreams. Wow, I'm starting to remember even more of things. But it started to be intense, where I was getting trapped in my dreams. I couldn't wake up, no matter how I tried. So I'd be like opening my eyes, and I couldn't, for the life of me, wake up. The only conclusion I came up with now is that I was out of body. That I was, having astral projection, out of body experiences, and I didn't know how to go back to my body. That's the only thing I could come up with. So what I do is I was able to run outside, and I would jump off a cliff to wake up. So as soon as I hit that ground, I'd wake up. And it was quite intense, because a lot of times if you do that in dreams, and if I experienced hitting the ground, I would die. So I took a chance when I was little, but I didn't know any better. So because I couldn't wake up from my dreams, like I was literally stuck in my dreams, I had to jump off the cliff every time just to wake up. So I kept having dreams of the shadow beings and stuff, and kept having dreams of me picking my hand and everything. And my mom would always tell me, well, what's wrong? What's going on? And I never told her. I never told her these dreams when I was growing up. And I'm not too sure why, but yeah. So anyways, I was able to kind of explore outside and everything, and I had some other things happen in my dreams, but it's a little too personal, so I won't bring that up. But I was outside, and I decided to come back into my dreams. And all of a sudden the shadow figure appeared right in front of me, like it like emerged from underneath the refrigerator. I don't know why, but just emerged from underneath the refrigerator and just stared at me. It looked at me, and then it went right behind me and grabbed a hold of my neck and put me in a chokehold. It literally put me in a chokehold, and I was choking. I felt myself choking and being strangled. And the thing kept saying, don't wake up, don't wake up, don't you dare wake up. And it kept saying this over and over again while it was choking me, don't you dare wake up. But of course I did wake up. And I didn't understand what that meant, because after that dream, I never had the shadow figures in my dreams, but I had other evil entities in my dreams, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But I never saw the shadow being after that, and I didn't understand at the time what "don't wake up" meant. At first, I thought it was like "don't wake up," and I need to die. No, it wasn't that at all. It was "don't wake up" and continue to be aware and continue to step up the ladders, because that whole dream concept was, I started in the basement, and then I moved up to the top floor, and then I moved outside. And then, of course, as you expand more, my dreams became more and more where I was able to, walk in the streets, and, and then start traveling. I started traveling to different areas and stuff. So, my awareness expanded a whole lot more after that dream with that shadow me. But I was still haunted by evil beings. And a couple times I had this evil entity that I come across in in a dark setting, a guy with a trench coat on, and I would always look at him from the backside, and then I would get a third perception view, like I would not be in human form, but it just was like it was a telekinesis. Most of my dreams ended up starting to be telekinesis dreams. If you're ever in a third perspective view um, in dreams, you're in a telekinesis state. So these evil entities were doing telekinesis, and I think I'll go ahead and just talk about that in another video, because actually that brings up a very good point. Some things that I just now became aware of. So yeah, but shadow beings themselves are your human instinct, trying to keep you shadowed, sheltered, secluded, in a area, which can be from belief structures, being taught in certain ways and saying that's it. Limitations, limiting yourself, keeping you down. That's what the shadow beings represent. And the shadow beings, not everybody has had these shadow being dreams, but those who have are the ones that you're going to find out have the most awareness and are willing to expand their awareness. And they're very special people. Very, very special, open-minded, loving people. If they're willing to get out, because these shadow beings can actually manipulate you into going more towards the dark side as well. But yeah, these shadow beings are just a representation of limitations. And are you going to look past the fear of limitations, and are you willing to expand and grow in the limitations? That's a representation of the shadow beings in dreams, from my personal experience. And the shadow beings that you may encounter here in this real-time 3D, 4D world, because 3D and 4D are the same. The earth and the spirit realm are connected, and that veil is being lifted daily now, and you're going to start seeing these fourth dimensional beings with these eyes. So just a little heads up right there. But these shadow beings you got to be very aware of, because there's good beings and manipulative shadow beings. Eventually, as you unlock your third eye more, you'll see their true image beyond the shadow being, and that's when you'll start to see the true colors of these beings. So if you see shadow beings are like, oh hey, what's up and stuff, become aware, realize you're stronger and powerful than they are, and say, who are you? Who are you? Okay, don't ever let these shadow beings manipulate you. Always ask, who are you? And if you don't feel comfortable with it, turn it off. And that's really all I've got to say if you are starting to experience these shadow beings in real time. So yeah, that's pretty much my experience with these shadow beings. Hopefully it helps you guys, for those who have had experience with these shadow beings. And also the main focus on this is, this video is getting long, but the representation of going up the ladder. It's just like the Jacob's ladder or your Kundalini, because Jacob's ladder in the Bible is talking about your Kundalini, or your spiritual energy, your DNA structure rising. There are people that are talking about on how to rise your Kundalini and how you feel it go up your spine. It can also be related to the chakra points of, it starts with the root chakra and then it just lights up your chakra points. It's combining the elements. There's so many different teachings out there, but they're the same thing. So your Kundalini rising is also clearing and activating your or remembering, because your chakra points are already activated. It's just unclogging them and learning what each one does. But your Kundalini rising is clearing all of your chakra points. So your Kundalini, Jacob's ladder, chakra points are the same. And it's that connection stream that you have with the Father, which is the universal sun, and the earth, which is your ground chakra. So, it's all about rising. We're rising up. We don't want to stay grounded here, just like I was talking about. You don't want to stay grounded as a person. You want to stay grounded with the mother, but not the human nature of things, which I was talking about with 666 and things of you're either going to live by human instinct and nature, or you're going to live by feelings, looking within yourself and connecting all the dots together with your spiritual self, because it's still all about your spiritual self. You may be in a shell, but it's all about your spiritual being. And the ground chakra is connecting with Mother Nature, not human nature, Mother Nature. So hopefully this video helps you guys. Like I said, this dealt with the shadow beings. And if you got questions, let me know. If you have experiences with these shadow beings, or maybe even questions about what these dreams you're having maybe just ask me a question. This video is getting long, so go ahead and end it. 13 love to you all. Don't fear these beings. Just realize that you are very powerful and more powerful than they are. Just discover what it means. Discover what they're trying to tell you. And always look beyond and expand. Always. Because they do not want you to expand. Your human nature doesn't want you to expand. But you do want to expand. So, in awareness. So, end with that. 13 love to y'all. Love y'all very much. Namaste. And I'll talk to you in a little bit.